Hello students. In today's class, we'll discuss on flexibility matrix method or analysis of indeterminate structures. So in the last class, we have discussed regarding this stiffness matrix method, where we have discussed both stiffness matrix method applicable to beams and frames. As we have already discussed that the stiffness method is a displacement method, where this flexibility matrix method is a force method. So there we have identified in stiffness matrix method, we have identified this unknown are displacements. Here we will find out redundant forces are the unknowns. And flexibility matrix is a force method. The unknowns are the forces. So let us start this concept or this theoretical background in flexibility matrix and how to calculate this redundant forces and then the member forces by this method. So as we have discussed in flexibility method, the basic unknowns are the forces. So basic unknowns are the forces. Now, if you go for this, if a structure has n number of unknowns and its displacement responds to the force represented by this. Okay. So we have seen the force is equal to or P is equal to K delta, right? So P is equal to K delta in case of your stiffness matrix method. The same thing will come here, but here will be the flexibility matrix method. So we'll find delta is equal to delta matrix. Will find out that is known as the flexibility matrix here. Now, what the meaning of this? The meaning of the delta 1 1. So delta 1 1 means like we have seen K1 1, K2 1, K3 1. In case of your stiffness matrix, here also in flexibility matrix you'll find delta each column represent to a particular application of a force. Now, what is the meaning of delta Ij? What is the meaning of delta Ij? Let us discuss what is delta Ij. Delta Ij is the displacement at coordinate I due to the unity force applied at coordinate J. So, if you remember in the stiffness method, we are applying the displacements. Here you will apply the forces, the unknown forces, because the forces are the unknowns. Let me explain. Let's come to this example. Now, you see in this problem, let me fixed at end and roller support at these ends. So there are 5 unknowns. 5 reactions are unknowns. 3 are the fixed end, 1 are this roller support, and 1 are maximum we can find by equation of static equilibrium 3. So there will be two unknowns are there. So now which 2 unknowns you have to take as this redundant, that you have to decide. Now here for the easy application or easy calculation, we can take this force as 1 redundant and these 4 as 2 redundant. And with the 2 redundants, then what we'll do? We have to remove this and find a release structure. Now this is the release structure where there is no the applied force will be there. Of course, the applied forces will come in the members. But now, how to find delta 1, delta 2 1, delta 2 2, all these things? That means I will apply in coordinate 1. I will apply unity force like this. Due to this force, you have to find out what is the deflection at here and deflection at here. Right? The stiffness method, what we are doing? We are applying the displacement here and finding the forces at coordinate 1. Here the reverse. You apply the force or the in the direction of the coordinates or the redundant force that we have taken, and then due to this force, let it be suppose R1. So due to R1, what is the displacement at 1 1? So that will be delta 1 1, and this will be delta 2 1. Applying the force at 1, find the displacement at these points. So that is the meaning of delta 1 and delta 2 1. So if you apply the force, it will go like this way, right? It will reflect like this way. So we find the here delta 1 1, here delta 2 1. Similarly, we apply force at the coordinate 2. Okay, if I apply force at here, so it will be like this. We'll find out this deflection will go like this way. Now this will be delta 1 2. This will be delta 2. You are able to understand? So this is how we are finding the flexibility matrix. So in case of flexibility matrix, you choose the redundant forces first. It may be moment here, it may be horizontal reaction, vertical reaction, but you should choose properly so that you can able to find out the deflections easily. That should be your purpose. So what is the meaning of now delta Ij? So delta Ij means that you are applying the displacement. What is the displacement at coordinate I due to the unity force applied at coordinate j? Applying at 2, what is at 1 displacement? Delta 1. Applying at coordinate j, find the displacement at. Now what is delta IIPI? If you multiply with the force, what will find out? Okay, so flexibility matrix, multiply the force, will give the displacement at coordinate I due to the force Pi at I. That is delta IPI. So delta IIPI means is the displacement. Okay, you can take capital delta or what you take the displacement at I due to the force applied at I. Well, delta IJPJ means the displacement at J, displacement at coordinate I due to the force applied at J. The meaning of delta Ij. Delta Ij means you are applying the force at P coordinate J, and now this multiplication will give you the displacement at I. So let write some equation you can able to find out. So this is delta, right? Okay. Delta, this is the delta. Now you multiply delta with a matrix P matrix. That will give me capital delta. So delta 1, delta 2, delta 3, like that you can find the thing. And what will your delta here? Okay. So delta 1 1, delta 2 1, delta 3 1, right? Similarly, will be delta 1 2, delta 2 2, delta 3 2. Here will be delta 1 3, delta 2 3. So this will multiply what? The P matrix. P1, P2, P3 like this. So multiplying this delta 1 1 P1 will give the value of delta 1 at the point 1. So this is the meaning of these displacements at coordinate I and displacement at coordinate I due to the force applied J. So let us. So how to find the jth column of flexibility matrix? Like we have discussed earlier in that case, to develop jth column of the flexibility matrix, unity force shall be applied at coordinate J. Okay, so and the first column you apply the unity force at coordinate 1. So first you have to identify the coordinates. Coordinate means you have to find the redundant forces. So choose your redundant forces and assign the coordinate 1 2 Accordingly, find the flexibility matrix. The first column corresponds to the force applied at 1, coordinate 1, and that will give the displacement at all other coordinates. So, like this stiffness matrix, delta matrix also, it is a symmetric matrix. This is a symmetric matrix, and delta ij is equal to delta ji. So that is satisfied. So if you are finding the delta 1, 2, it is not essential you to find delta 2, 1. Then these values are equal. But if you want to doubt or clear that whether it is correct or wrong, you can calculate both and see that both are same. Now what to find now? Okay. As we have discussed that these basic unknowns are the redundant forces of different joints. Basic forces are the redundant forces. Now what is delta? Delta is equal to delta into P. Delta is the flexibility matrix. P is the force matrix. Now what is P? P already I have found K into delta in the stiffness method. P is equal to K delta. If you put here K delta, you will find K into delta into P. Okay, and that becomes is a identity matrix. So identity K into delta if you multiply, you will find identity matrix. So you can prove or any structure if you find the flexibility matrix and you find this stiffness matrix, then multiply this matrix, this will be identity matrix. Identity matrix means you'll find only diagonal terms will come 1, 1, 1, others will come 0, 0, 0. Of diagonal terms will be equal to 0. That is the identity matrix. So for any problem or any structure, if you are able to find out the stiffness matrix and the flexibility matrix, then you multiply both the things, that will give a identity matrix. Or you can say, if you know the stiffness matrix, you can find the flexibility matrix. If you know the flexibility matrix, you can find the stiffness matrix. One is the inverse of other. One is the inverse of other. So now let us come to this flexibility matrix method, how to solve the problem. Now, as we have already seen, the basic unknowns are the forces, redundant forces. So convert the indeterminate structure to a basic determined or release structure. That I had discussed earlier in this class, that if you have a number of unknowns, so you identify which unknowns you will take as the redundant forces, and then you release those forces, and this structure becomes determinate structure, that is statically determinate. So that is called the release structure or a determinate structure. Now, if you write that equation delta 1 is equal to delta 1, 1 P1, delta 1 to P2, like that we will find the values. So if you go to this earlier things, or if you give a simple things, so I have already write down the delta 1, delta 2, delta 3, like this it will come up to delta n. So this matrix is equal to delta 1L. Delta 1L is the delta 1L you can find out due to the loads. Okay, you can find the joint displacements. So delta 1L, delta 2L, like that you can come up to delta N. So with this, you have to add this plus, you have to add your delta matrix. That you have seen delta 1, 1, delta 2, 1, delta 3, 1. And this will multiply with the P1, P2, P3, P4. So that is the force or the redundant forces. So P1, P2, P3 are the redundant forces. So you can find the n number of simultaneous equations. So similar things we have discussed in case of stiffness method. And if you find the n number of simultaneous equations, then n number of unknowns can be found out. So or you can find out if you do the matrix inverse, then you can also find out the value of delta, the unknowns. Okay. That can be the P1, P2 can be obtained by making this inverse of these things. So one is you have to find your two loads. One is you find out the displacement of the joint. That we'll see in the next consequence discussions. Now here, because if you are going to inverse a matrix, so like the stiffness matrix method, the 2 by 2 matrix is easy to solve, and some extent 3 by 3 matrix you can do in examination. More than 3 by 3, you have to go for a computer programming, MATLAB or Mathematica or something software is available. It is not possible to inverse a 4 by 4 matrix in the exam hall. 3 by 3 matrix also a bit time taking. So generally you will get a 2 by 2 matrix for solving the problem. Now, so this is the n number symmetry equations. Now solve the above equation to find P1, P2, P3. So what to find out? You have to find out P1, P2, P3. P1, P2, P3 are the redundant forces that you have identified initially. So suppose you have 5 unknowns, you are able to find 2 unknowns. The other 3 can be solved by the static equilibrium. Can solve by the equation of statics. Now, what is delta? Delta is equal to delta L plus delta into P. So delta matrix is the flexibility matrix. P is the redundant forces. Delta is the total displacements. Delta 1L, delta IL, whatever you tell. Displacement I due to given loading in the release structure in the coordinate direction I. Delta L. Okay. Delta is the total joint displacements that is being given in the. If it is given that joint B is sinks by 5 mm, joint C is sinks by 5, that value is the delta value. Otherwise, delta is equal to 0. So let me explain again this thing. Now, so we are taking this ABC as the beam. Okay. Here we are releasing this and releasing this, but we have some loads here. Some loads acting on this part. Now, if you come to release structure, in the release structure, you apply the loads now. So, due to these loads, what is the displacement at the coordinates? So, what is the displacement at 1, displacement at 2? So, these are nothing, these are delta 1L, delta 2L. So, that is the displacement due to the loading. So, you find out the displacement in the release structures, the direction of the coordinates. So that will give the value of delta 1L, delta 2L. Now we got the delta L point. Now what is the delta? Now here all the delta 1, delta 2, 0, because here there is no displacement imposed on the structure. Now if the question is that B sinks by 5 mm, it sinks 5 mm means now delta value will be minus 0.005 meter. Want to in the meter. So in that case, the delta value is given for the joint and we get a delta. Okay. Let us go to step by step analysis of this flexibility matrix. Step by step procedure you have to do like your in case of we have also seen in case of stiffness matrix method. Now first you have to find the degree of static indeterminacy. Degree of static indeterminacy. In case of stiffness method, we are finding the kinematic indeterminacy. What are the unknowns like slopes and deflection at different joints? But here we have to find the static indeterminacy. The number of redundant forces can be found out. Once you find the n, then you know the redundant forces. So in the redundant force directions, provide the assign the coordinate 1, 2, so that you can write the flexibility matrix by giving the unit forces at that coordinates. Now remove the restraints to redundant forces and get the release of basic determinant structure. So now if you know these are the redundant forces, so like we have seen, so this is the basic problem. This is the basic problem. And now if you want to release structure, you take this is 1 and this is 2 as the coordinate. So the release structure will be like this. This is your release structure. This is loading. This is the release. This is B. This is C. Remove the restraints to redundant forces and get the released or basic determinant structure. Now, this structure is a determinant one because there is only one. This is a cantilever. This is just like a cantilever, and you have the fixed end, and the loadings are there, so you can analyze this structure by the standard procedures of the whatever these available methods. Now, for this release structure, calculate the deflection at 1 and 2 coordinate. Next step is calculate the deflections in each of the coordinate direction due to the given loading condition in the release structure, that is known as delta L. So as I have told, for this and this load, it will deflect like this, right? So I have to find out what the deflection here and what the deflection here due to this loading. So you can draw the bending moment diagram, or you can use the conjugate beam method. You can do this your Maclaurin's method. So by any method, you have to find the deflection. So already you have been studied in analysis 1 how to find the deflection of a determined beam determined structure. So any of the method can be applied to find out the deflection at these locations in the coordinate direction. Now calculate the flexibility matrix delta. Then you calculate the flexibility matrix by providing the unit force to now. So I want this thing. So there is no load. Only I will apply the unit force at 1, and I will find out what is the value of the deflection at here and here, delta 1 1 and delta 2 1. Once you find, so this will be a flexibility matrix. Here will be the delta L matrix, and P is the redundant forces that you know. So your P will be equal to delta inverse delta minus delta L. Delta is the conditions given at the joints. That supports will go for displaced, then you can find this value. So these are the theoretical background for this flexibility method. Now we'll go for some problems we'll discuss on this. Then you calculate the member force. So once you know this, when you know this unknowns redundant forces, then you can calculate the member forces using the redundant forces. Let us see one problem. Now, so let us discuss this problem. Okay, solve the continuous beam using flexibility method and draw the bending moment diagram. Here, there is a 60 kilonewton per meter load acting on the span AB, and in the BC at center there is a 100 kilonewton load. B and C are now simply supported. Now, what is the number of static indeterminacy? Now here you have 3 reactions at the fixed end, 1 here, 1 here, so 5. So 3 can be found out by equation of statics. 2 are the basic unknowns or redundant forces. Now what we can make redundant, that depends on you. Here what is being done, it is make redundant the moment at A and the joint moment at B has been taken as the redundancy. Okay. It is taken as the redundancy force. So that means you have to apply a unit moment here and find out the rotations at 1 and 2. Delta is here, rotation. If you take B and C unknown, you can do, but it is difficult to find. It may be more cumbersome to find out the deflections. Okay. So for the EG, it has been taken this. So this is acting anti-clockwise. This is acting clockwise. So here it is anti-clockwise. Here it is clockwise. So it is being taken as the moment. Moment as the redundant force. Okay. So clockwise positive is here, anti-clockwise positive here. So accordingly it has taken like that. Now draw this bending moment diagram So for to find out these rotations, we have to use the conjugate beam method here. So you know the conjugate beam method. So we are not going to again discuss the conjugate beam method. So in the conjugate beam method, the fixed end will be free and the simply supported will be this will be hinged. Now, what is done in the conjugate beam method? Whatever the load is given the span, you draw this bending moment diagram just as a simple supported, and then divide it by EI. So that will be M by EI diagram. Now, M by EI diagram in the conjugate beam will be the loading. Okay. The M by EI diagram that you have obtained. So if there are different I values, you can put here. I value will be different according to the ordinate will change. So you draw the free bending moment diagram divided by EI. Free bending moment diagram means you assume both are the simply supported, and what is the load given for this, draw the bending moment diagram, then divide by EI. If I is same, it is okay. If I is different, you will take the different I here. So the moment of inertia variation can be incorporated here in the diagram. Now this free bending diagram will the loading on the conjugate beam. Now in the conjugate beam, you know the shear at any section is equal to the slope, and the moment at any section is equal to the deflection on the actual beam. So that concept is being used in the flexibility method to find out the solutions. What will now? So number of forces released for the determined structure is 2. So we have to release 2 moments. Now considering 2 independent simply supported beam AB and BC, we will find the maximum moment is coming here is WL square. WL square by 8. So 60 into 4 square. So by 8, so it is 120. And here WL by 4. So 100 into 3 by 4, 75. So the ordinates come 75. So 120 and 75. Consider the M by EI diagram as loading. So now this will be the loading on this conjugate beam. Now loading on the conjugate beam, what you find out that this now this will be the loading on the conjugate beam. Then you have to find the shear in conjugate beam now. Now what is the conjugate beam now here? Let me draw. So fixed end will be free. And the fixed end will be free, and they will be hinge or continuous here. The hinge here, it will be a support here. Now, what is the your loading is like this here? Loading is like this here. Okay. So this is 75 by EI, and this is your 120 by EI. So these are the ordinates you have found. So now the load will act like this on this beam. The load will act like this. 120 by EI. Now, what is delta 1L? 1 is the coordinate here, 2 is the coordinate here. Delta is A dash, that will be A dash, B dash, and C dash. What is 1? 1 is taken here or what? Here at conjugate beam at A. So now this we have taken the moment here. Okay, we have taken the moments are the unknowns here. So this is not 1 2. Just let me correct it. So what is the 1 2 we have taken? 1 2 is your moments. We have taken this release structure. Here is a moment, and here we have taken the moments as the your coordinates. So this is 1, this is 2. Okay, this is being considered. Now, what is the rotation at the A? Rotation at A is equal to the shear at A. What is the shear at A? Now you can take half of this beam loading to here. Half of the beam loading will be the shear at here. So what is the shear force now? Half 2 by 3 h into L. So the parabola area of the parabola is equal to 2 by 3 h into L. So that will be 160 by EI. So 1 by 60 I is the delta 1L. Why imposing due to the loading? Delta 1L, delta 2L is the shear, the rotations. Deflection here is the rotations. Rotation at 1, rotation at 2 due to the applied loading. That is the meaning of this delta 1L. So you have calculated the shear force at A. So now for this support by the shear at 2, the shear at 2 will be shear due to this or the rotation. Rotation at 2 means rotation due to the beam A dash B dash at B dash. Rotation at B dash due to the span B dash C dash. So both will be you have to calculate. Okay. So rotation is rotation in the conjugate in the actual beam, that is corresponds to the shear at the conjugate beam. So calculate the shear here. So it is shear means it will be again the total force half will come to this side. Okay. You can calculate half 2/3, same thing, half 2/3 h into L for the parabola. And this is the triangle. So half h into L is the area, and half will come to this side, half will go to that side. Calculate like this. Half of 75 EI into L is 3 here, L is 4 here. Okay. So now this will be your delta 2L. Delta 2L. So so you can find out now the delta 1L, delta 2L, that is the displacements in the direction of coordinate 1 and coordinate 2 due to the loading on the beam. Okay. So what we do? We draw the M by EI diagram. Then from this release structure, the determined structure for which we find the structure here, this conjugate beam, and the conjugate beam, the shear force corresponds to this. In the release structure, what you have? In the release structure, you have like this now. The moment has been released, so it will continue like this. So if there is support, so we find what the reaction here, so that will be the value of your shear force. Is nothing the reactions here, the joints. So that will give the value of the rotations at this point. Now we'll find the flexibility matrix. So how to find the flexibility matrix? What we have discussed. So to find the flexibility matrix, if I am interested to find out delta 1,1 coefficient, first coefficient, so I have to apply unity force in the direction of 1 and then calculate the displacement at 1 and displacement at 2. So that will be the first column, delta 1,1, delta 2,1. Now to find this value, this is the coordinate direction, moment direction. You apply 1 kilonewton meter moment here. Due to this moment, what is the rotation at A and rotation at B, that we have to find out. That will give the value of delta 1,1, delta 2. To find this, we will give now. You draw the loading. So what is the moment here? 1. So it will be M by EI diagram will be 1 by EI here and 0 here. Okay. Now it will be A dash, B dash, and C dash. And you can take like this. So this is also like here. Now what is the delta 1,1? Delta 1,1 means you find the reaction at here due to this loading. So it is release structure. So this simple support, it will be also simple support. It has been missed here. Now so total is a triangle, total force triangle. So area of the triangle, half 1 by EI into 4, the area of triangle. Okay. Now, total load will act at CG. Okay. So CG means 2/3 will come here, 1/3 load will go here. Or you can find out from the basic equation, taking moment at B dash 0, taking moment at A dash 0, you can find the reactions at A dash and B dash. So you can find out RA dash and RA at B dash. Or you can use your intuition, because the load at CG, this is 1/3, this is 2/3. So 2/3 will come here, 1/3 will come here. We will find 4 by EA. And here will be 2 by 3A. We find delta 1, 1, delta 2, 1. Now, similarly, we'll find the value of delta 2, 2 and delta. Now come the second. Now this is the release structure. The release structure, you apply the unit moments in the coordinate direction. You have taken the coordinate direction positive or anti-clockwise, clockwise positive here. If you apply the unit moment here, so the bending moment is 1 here, 0 here, 1 in this span, 0 here. So there will be 1 by EI, 1 by EI. What is the moment at A dash and sorry, what is the rotation at A dash and rotation at B dash? Rotation at B dash will be equal to delta 2, 2, and here the rotation will be equal to delta 1, right? So this value, this rotation at here will be delta 1, 2, and here the rotation will be delta. And to find the delta 2, 2 and delta 1, 1, now this M by EI diagram will be the loading for this conjugate beam. Then we will find the reaction here RA dash, and here we will find VB dash for this span A dash B dash, and VB dash for span B dash C dash. Now we will combine, add both these things. That will be the theta here. Total here will be from this plus from this span. They will combine, find out the value. Just find the value. Now, what is the value here? Again, I have already discussed. So this is the triangle. So triangle means CG will be at 1/3 from here. Okay, 1/3 from here. Here CG will be 1/3 from here. So here 2/3 load will come here. This load 2/3 will come here, and this load 1/3 will come here. So 1/3 of this triangle will be the delta 1, 2. Delta 1, 2 will be this. 1/3 of half of the triangle. And 2/3 of this triangle and 2/3 of this triangle will be the value of delta 2. So similarly, you have to calculate. Now see, 2/3 of this and 2/3 of that. So that becomes 7 by 3. Now for consistency condition, so the final displacement will be 0. Because at the fixed end, you know this slope is equal to 0. Because this span here, at point B, okay, at the point B, theta is also 0 because it is continuous. So here the theta 0, here also theta will be 0. So that is why the final displacement or the imposed displacement will be taken as delta 1, delta 2 is equal to 0. Because there is no imposed displacement are given on these things. There is no imposed. It has not given that this value is 6.5 mm. So this cannot be seen the fixed end. So it must be 0. The theta must be equal to 0. And here, since there is no imposed rotations given to this joint, so the delta 2 is also 0. So what is delta 2 basically? Delta 2 is the relative rotation between B and P. So it is 0. Relative displacement of this, relative displacement of this. So relative displacement is 0. It is not the only rotation, that is the relative rotation. Delta 2, because the two beams are meeting at the coordinate 2 we have taken like this. Now put the equation. What is your equation? Delta into P is equal to delta minus delta L. So write this flexibility matrix, and P1, P2, delta 0, 0, and you do the inverse. You are giving the value minus 85.875 minus 68.5. So what is this value? These are the moments. Moments at here. So now you find the moments 85.875 at A minus 68.25 at B. So minus means here will be anti-clockwise. Here will be again opposite to that. So that taken clockwise, so have to be anti-clockwise. So all will be negative. So draw this line 68.5 and 0. Now to draw the bending moment diagram, we don't find any reactions. Now superimpose this simply supported moment diagram that we have already obtained. Okay. So this value is 120. This value is 75. So if you want the maximum bending moment, then you have to split the section as we have done in case of slope deflection, and you can find out the value. Now here, this is the negative. This part is positive. This is negative. This part is positive. So you can also show the bending moment by giving these dash lines on the borders. Okay. So this will be your bending moment positive. And this is your negative part. This is part is the positive. Okay. This line and this line. This is positive and this part is negative. And the common space will be plus minus will be cancelled. So this is how we calculate one problem we saw the beams. Let us go to the second problem. Now here you see now solve this continuous beam using the flexibility method to draw the bending moment diagram. Now here A, B, C, D, and A is hinged, B, C, D are roller support. There is a UDL in span AB, UDL in span BC, CD, and there is a load at some distance from the at 4 meter from B. You can give A, B, C, D. Now, what is the number of static indeterminates here? 1, 2, 3 to 5. 5 is the unknowns. Okay, 5 is the reactions unknowns. Minus 3 can be solved. So 2 is the redundancy. So any 2 you can find as the redundancy. Like the previous problem, you can also take these moments at the joint B and joint C are the redundancy. It will be easy for you because you know moment at A0, moment at D0 because they are simply supported. So if you take these things, you can take also D and C reactions at, but it is difficult to find those reflections. So you should very particular to choose the redundance so that your problem will be easy to solve. If you take any redundance, but it will be too cumbersome to find out the values and it will take more time consuming. So that you have to see while solving the problem. Now let us go to this. Okay, as I have told, now it is being taken as the clock and anti-clockwise here, clockwise here, anti-clockwise here, clockwise here. So this has taken 1 and 2. So this is your coordinate 1. This is your coordinate 2. So the moment at B, moment at C. So moment at B, moment at C means you have to find the rotation at B and rotation at C. That means you have to find the shear. In the conjugate beam, you have to find the shear at B and shear at C. That will give the value. So to draw the conjugate beam, what we will do? You will draw the free bending moment diagram. So what is the free bending moment diagram now? The free bending moment diagram is you go to your problem. It is 40 here. So what is the value? 40 into L square by 8. So 8 means 5. 144 into 5. Right? So 144 into 5 becomes 5 20 to 720. So 720 is the ordinate for this. And here it is 20 kilonewton meter and also 12 meter span. So half of here 360 here. So this 720 means 360 half. Now what will be a moment here? Free moment WAB by L in the span BC. So that will be 120 into 4 into 8 by 12. So what the value come? 12, 10, 40, 320. So this is 320, this is 320, this is 720. So that is the value you are getting. So that is to be put on this free variable diagram. You see, 720 by EI, 320 by EI, 360 by EI. So those things have been explained below. So number of forces released for detailed structure is 2. Considering 2 independent simply supported beam A, B, B, C, C, D. A, B, B, C, C, D are different. You find out. Now this M by I diagram now the loading on the things. So loading means now what will the conjugate beam? In the conjugate beam we will find out the conjugate beam like this. So here, here, here. So now you have to find out B and C. So you have to find what is the shear at here. So you will find the shear force in this conjugate beam. You will able to find out and let it B dash C dash. So D dash A dash. So these are the nomenclature for the conjugate beam. Now if you are able to find out the reaction, what the reaction at B dash? The reaction at B dash will be the reaction on due to the loading on the span A dash B dash, and also reaction due to the loading on B dash C dash. Okay. So you can find the reaction from this and reaction from this. So what is the reaction from this? So it is a again parabola. So 2 by 3h into L is the total load, and half will come to this side, half will come to that side. Now, if you come to this span B dash C dash, that is a triangle. So triangle means again total area half base into height, length into height, and half will come to this side and half will go to this side. And again, C dash D dash is a parabola. So if it is a this is not a parabola. This is we have given 4 and 8 graphs. So it will different. Now here, you have to find out the force and you have to find the reactions. It is not this 6 meter, 6 meter, 4 meter, 8 meter, right? So L plus A by 3 will come here, L plus B by 3 will come this side. So that is the CG distance. So depending on CG distance, you can find the value. For this is a triangle like this. Okay. A and B. For this CG, it will be L plus A by 3 from this side, L plus B by 3 from E. So you find the reactions at this and this end. Let us go to the problem. What is delta 1L? Delta 1L is the displacement in coordinate direction 1. That I have already explained. Rotation at B in span AB, rotation at B in span BC. So find the reactions here. Half of the area under this curve, that is a parabola 2 by 3 h into L. So this is your AB, okay, and this is your BC. Correct. This is 120. This is 360, 320, 720. 20 or 360, whatever you see the value. I think there is some mistake here. WAB by L, so 120 into 4 into 8. So 320 is the value. So you take this value 320 by EI. Now half of this is the load. But the load will be half of the total load. Okay. So into L plus A by 3. The load will come this side, L plus B by 3. Because CG will be at from this side L plus B by 3, and it will be L plus A by 3. Or what you can do is simple. If you are confusing or not able to remember these CG formulas, what you can say. Let me explain. Now, This total force will be 320 by 160 into 12. Okay. Where it will act? It will act CG of the section. So you should understand where is the CG lies. Now CG at L plus B by 3. L plus B by 3 means 12 plus 8 into 3. So here 20 by 3, 6 point something it will come here. Here the CG. Now you have to find out this reaction. So this reaction is this reaction into this distance. So let me RB dash into 12 minus this load, whatever the load you will find out, load multiply by this distance will give the is equal to 0. So that is why while calculating this, you have to take the CG from this end. So that is why it is taken L plus B by 3. BJB. So divide by 12 means 12 is here by the span. So that will give the displacement in coordinate direction 1, that is rotation at B in BC. Now for displacement in the coordinate 2, so displacement in coordinate 2 is equal to rotation at C in BC and rotation C in CD. Now there are two different things will come here. Now here you have BC like this, you have the CD like this. C and C. So you need this reaction. So now at in the direction 2L. So from this span will come and from this span. So for find out this reaction, you take moment at this point. So distance of CG from this point will be equal to L plus A by 3. L plus A by 3. From this side L plus B by 3. So it is L by A by 3. So it is taken L by A by 3 divided by the span. And this is nothing, this is the load. Now here you will take total load 2 by 3 H into L, half will come to this because it is a parabola. So that is being done here, half will come here. Okay. So we can find the value of delta 2L. So I think you understand how to find delta 1 and delta 2L. Then come to the flexibility matrix now. Like we have done in the earlier problem, here also we can find the flexibility matrix. Now apply the unit moment at the designated coordinate 1. 1 kilonewton here, 1 kilonewton here, and this is the diagram for this B dash. And what is the rotation at B dash and rotation at C dash? That we have to find out. This is the coordinate 1, and here is coordinate 2. When we apply that coordinate 1, the other coordinates are locked, like we have discussed earlier. So if I am applying 1 kilonewton here meter, so now this is the bending moment diagram of the simply supported, and divide by EI, and now these are the support points of the conjugate beam. Now in the conjugate beam, you have to find the rotation at B dash and rotation at C. The rotation at B dash will be equal to the reaction on the span A dash B dash at B dash, reaction at B dash due to load on B dash C dash, and the rotation at C dash will be equal to only the load coming from here. Now, as we have discussed, the total load is equal to half base into height, and here 2/3 will come here. Here also the total 2/3 will come here. The span is different. If they are different, now from the total load 1/3 will come to this side. So 1/3 of this side will be at here the reaction. 2/3 will be here the reaction. 2/3 will be reaction here. Then both will be added to find out the delta 1/1. And delta 2/1 will equal to 1/3 of this. So that is being done in the next step. You can see 2/3 from this side, 2/3 from this side. All spans are 12. So 2/3 half of 1 by EI. For delta 2/1, you take 1/3 of. So here the spans are same. So you are putting 12 and 12. If the spans are different, then you have to put the value. This is nothing. This is the L value. area of the diagram 1 by EI. Half base, this is a triangle. Half base means your length. The length of span are different, you can put the different span. Spans are same, so put the same span. Delta 2 1 will be similarly 2 by 3. 1/3 of the value will come here. For these loads, or this load, will find 1/3 value will come to this end C. So that is 1/3. Let us understand this next flexibility matrix delta 2 to delta 1 2. So you apply the unit moment at 2 and find out the reaction at the B and C. The rotation at B and C. Rotation at B correspond to the shear force at B dash. Rotation at C correspond to the shear at C dash from the both the spans. So you will find out the similar value like this because it is a similar problem and spans are same. So we will find the same values here also. The same value will come here. Similar way, 1/3 will come to this side, 2/3 come to this side, 2/3 come to this side, and 1/3 of the load will come. So simple, 1/3 of half of this area of the triangle, and here 2/3 from this triangle, 2/3 from this triangle. That will be the value of the shear, which corresponds to the rotation in the actual beam. So we'll find out the delta 1, delta 2. Now, like this, the final displacement delta 1, delta 2 is equal to 0. There are no imposed condition here. So delta 2 again, delta 1 is the relative displacement between AB and BC. Delta 2 is between CB and CD. Delta 1, delta 2 means, go to your problem. Delta 1, delta 2 means the relative rotation between AB and BC. Delta 2 means the relative rotation between CB and CD. So that is 0. So nothing is given here. There's some rotation only given, then only you can take that value. So now apply the formula. Delta is equal to P is equal to delta minus delta L. Okay. So by applying these formulas, you can find the value of P1. So what is the? I think you can able to write down this the inverse of matrix. So that is not an issue. So if you are not understood the inverse of matrix, then again you have to study this matrix calculations. How to calculate inverse, how to calculate determinant, how to find the adjoint matrix. Those things you have to study. The basic knowledge on this matrix. Now here you see the bending moment diagram. Now on this bending diagram now, we have this moment at here 449.78. Okay. This is the, let us see, this is the A, this is B, this is C, this is E, right? Now at A, the moment is 0, simply supported. At D, moment is 0, and we have found minus values at B and C. P1 corresponds to the moment at coordinate 1. P2 corresponds to the moment at, you are not writing M1, M2. I have told force means in general it may be a reaction force, horizontal or vertical, or it may be a moment. So all these things in generalized known as a moment. So here it is 320, it here is 360. So now you have to superimpose the values with this negative with a positive value. So we have already obtained these things. So now these things will be your bending moment diagram. It's very small here, so this will be positive. Okay, this small part, and then this part, and this part. So positive, negative, positive, negative, and positive. So this ordinate is basically this. If you want to actual ordinate or the maximum bending moment, then you have to go to this actual calculations. So this is regarding the bending moment diagram. So this will conclude this today's class. We'll discuss further problems in the next class, including the flexibility method applicable to the process. So thank you for attending this class, and have a good day.